They stayed at the cemetery until the sun started sinking low, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink and purple. They talked about Jack and Emma, about grief and loss and the impossible task of going on. They talked like old friends even though they just met, because grief has a way of breaking down walls, has a way of making strangers into kin. When they finally left, Sam drove Rose back to her flower shop. He parked out front and they sat in the truck for a moment, neither one wanting to say goodbye. "Thank you," Sam said finally, "for the flowers, for coming with me, for being real. Thank you for seeing through my smile," Rose said, "for asking for true flowers, for giving me permission to break." Sam smiled, small and sad. "Would you like to get coffee sometime? Or dinner? Not a date," he added quick. "Just two people who understand. Two people who don't have to pretend." Rose thought about saying no, thought about going back to her safe, empty life, her practiced smile, her locked-up heart. But that crack in her chest was wide open now, and the light was pouring in, and she couldn't go back to the darkness even if she wanted to. "Yes," she said, "I'd like that." They exchanged phone numbers like teenagers, both of them shy and uncertain. Sam promised to call, and Rose believed him. She climbed out of the truck and watched him drive away, watched until his taillights disappeared around the corner. Then she went inside her flower shop, locked the door behind her, and stood in the middle of all those blooms. For the first time in 2 years, the flowers didn't feel like a lie. They felt like hope, fragile hope, breakable hope, but hope nonetheless. Rose touched a sunflower petal and thought of Emma Carter, brave girl who loved bright things. Thought of Sam Carter, sad man who asked for true flowers. Thought of Jack Miller, good man who sang in the shower and fixed broken things. "I'm trying, Jack," she whispered to the empty shop. "I'm trying to live again. I'm trying to feel again. And it hurts like hell, but maybe that means I'm still here. Maybe that means I'm still me." She turned off the lights and went home to her house on Willow Road, that house she'd been avoiding for 2 years. She turned on all the lights this time, every single one, until the place blazed bright as Christmas. She sat in Jack's chair and she cried again, but this time it felt different. This time it felt like healing, like a wound finally getting air. The next day, Rose opened the shop at 7 sharp like always. But this time when she tied her apron and arranged the flowers, she didn't put on her practiced smile. She just let her face be what it was. Sad some moments, okay others, real all the time. And when customers came in, she was honest with them. Not cruel, not bringing them down, but honest. When a young man came in nervous about proposing, she told him, "Love her fierce while you can. Don't waste a single day." Word started to spread about Rose Miller and her flower shop. Spread like butter on warm bread. Spread like gossip at church. People said she'd changed, said she was different now. Some folks didn't like it, thought she should go back to being cheerful all the time. But others, the ones who were hurting themselves, the ones who were tired of pretending, they came to her shop like it was sanctuary. Rose started getting requests for true flowers. People who'd lost someone, people who were grieving, people who were tired of pretty lies. They came to Rose and asked her to make them something honest. And she did. She made arrangements that held space for pain and love all mixed together. Arrangements that didn't try to hide the hurt. Sam called 3 days later, right at closing time. "Hey," he said, voice warm through the phone line. "Still want to get that coffee?" "Yes," Rose said, no hesitation. "Yes, I do." They met at the diner on Main Street, slid into a booth by the window where the evening light came streaming through. They ordered coffee and pie, apple for him, pecan for her, and they talked. Talked about their days, their work, their dead loved ones. Talked about how hard it was to get out of bed some mornings, how the world kept spinning even when you wanted it to stop. "I went to Emma's grave again today," Sam said, fork halfway to his mouth. "Brought her some of those sunflowers from the grocery store. Not as nice as yours, but she won't judge me." Rose smiled. "She sounds like she had a good sense of humor." "The best," Sam agreed. "Used to crack jokes when I was being too serious, which was most of the time." He set down his fork and looked at Rose direct. "Can I tell you something without you thinking I'm crazy?" "Yes," Rose said. "Sometimes I talk to her. Not at the cemetery, I mean at home. I'll be cooking dinner or watching TV and I'll just start telling her about my day. Like she's sitting right there on the couch. And I know she's not, I know she's gone. But it makes me feel better. Makes me feel like she's not completely lost. Rose's eyes stung with sudden tears. I do that too. With Jack. I'll tell him about the flowers I sold that day, about the customers who came in. Sometimes I'll even argue with him. Like when I burn dinner and I say, "Well, Jack, if you were here you'd have cooked it right." And then I feel foolish because I'm arguing with a ghost. Not foolish, Sam said gentle. Not foolish at all. I think that's love, Rose. Love that doesn't stop just because someone's gone. Love that keeps talking even when nobody answers back. They sat in that diner until it closed, until the waitress started sweeping up around them and giving them looks. They talked and laughed and cried a little, and it felt good. Felt real. Felt like two broken people finding a way to be broken together, which was better than being broken alone. As they walked to their cars, Sam said, "Can I see you again? Not because I'm trying to replace Emma or forget her, but because being around you makes the world feel a little less empty." Rose looked at this man who'd walked into her flower shop asking for true flowers. This man who'd seen through her smile and given her permission to break. "Yes," she said. "Yes, Sam Carter. I'd like that very much." They started meeting regular after that. Coffee twice a week, dinner on Saturdays, walks in the park when the weather was nice. They weren't dating, weren't falling in love, they were both too raw for that, too newly broken. They were just two people learning how to be human again. Learning how to feel things without drowning in them. Rose's sister Lena called one Sunday morning, voice bright with curiosity. "I heard you've been seeing someone. Sam Carter, right? Folks are talking." "We're friends," Rose said, stirring her coffee slow. "Just friends, Lena. Both of us lost someone. Both of us understand." Hum, Lena said, not sounding convinced. "And have you cried yet? Really cried? Not just teared up at the funeral?" Rose thought about that day in the cemetery, about breaking open like a dam bursting. "Yes," she said quiet. "Yes, I've cried." "Good," Lena said firm. "Good. You needed that, honey. Needed to let it out before it poisoned you from the inside." Rose knew her sister was right. Knew that keeping her grief locked up had been slowly killing her. Turning her into a ghost who sold flowers and smiled on command. But now she was alive again. Hurting yes, aching yes, but alive. Real and raw and breathing. Summer rolled around hot and heavy. Rose kept her flower shop open late to catch the evening customers. Folks buying bouquets for summer parties and wedding season blooms. Sam would stop by sometimes after work, sit on the stool by the counter and keep her company while she worked. They'd talk about everything and nothing. Books they'd read, movies they'd seen, memories that made them laugh and memories that made them cry. One evening in July, Sam brought Chinese takeout and they ate it in the back room of the shop, surrounded by buckets of flowers and the sweet smell of roses. "I've been thinking," Sam said, picking at his low mane, "about what Emma would want for me. What she'd say if she could talk to me now." "What do you think she'd say?" Rose asked. Sam was quiet for a long moment, staring at his food. "I think she'd tell me to live. Really live, not just go through the motions. She'd tell me that being sad forever wouldn't honor her memory, wouldn't make her proud." His voice cracked. "She'd tell me to find joy again, even though it feels impossible. Even though it feels like betraying her." Rose reached across and squeezed his hand. "It's not betraying her. Living isn't betraying the dead, Sam. I think they'd want us to go on. Want us to laugh again, to love again, to find moments of happiness even in the grief." "You really believe that?" Sam asked, looking at her with those sad, searching eyes. Rose thought about Jack, about his terrible singing and his gentle hands, about the way he used to make her laugh when she was down. "Yes," she said. "Yes, I do. I think Jack would hate knowing I spent 2 years just existing, just smiling through the pain. He'd want me to really live. And I think Emma would want the same for you." Sam nodded slow, like he was accepting a truth he'd been fighting. "I went through Emma's room yesterday. First time since she died. My sister kept telling me I should pack things up, donate her clothes, but I couldn't face it. Couldn't face the empty room. How was it? Rose asked soft. Hard, Sam said. Harder than I expected. I found this journal she kept, hidden under her mattress. I almost didn't read it. Felt like invading her privacy. You know? But I did. I read the whole thing. He pulled out a small notebook from his jacket pocket, purple with stars on the cover. She wrote about dying, he said, voice barely above a whisper. Wrote about being scared but trying to be brave for me. Wrote about all the things she'd miss. Prom, graduation, falling in love, growing old. She listed them all out like she was cataloging her losses. Rose's throat closed up tight with grief. Oh, Sam. But then, Sam continued, then she wrote something that broke me. She wrote, Dad's going to be so sad when I'm gone. I worry about him more than I worry about me. I hope he finds someone to talk to. I hope he finds a way to smile again. I hope he doesn't stop living just because I had to stop. Sam's hands were shaking as he held the journal. She gave me permission, Rose. Permission to go on, to find happiness again. She gave me permission before she even died. Because she knew I'd need it. Knew I'd feel guilty for every moment of joy I found without her. Rose wiped her eyes with her napkin. She sounds like she really loved you. She did, Sam said. And I loved her. Love her still, will love her till the day I die. But I think I'm ready to try living again. Really living, not just surviving. And I think I have you to thank for that. Me? Rose said, surprised. Yes, you, Sam said. And he smiled, small and genuine. You showed me it was possible to break open and not die from it. You showed me that grief doesn't have to be hidden or locked away. You showed me that two broken people can help each other heal, even if the healing never really finishes. Rose felt something shift in her chest, something warm and scary and hopeful all at once. I think you showed me the same thing, she said. Before you walked into my shop, I was dying slowly, dying from holding everything in, from pretending I was okay. You gave me permission to be broken. That was a gift, Sam. That was a real gift. They finished their Chinese food and cleaned up together, moving around each other easy as old dance partners. When it was time to leave, Sam walked Rose to her car like he always did. But this time, instead of just saying good night, he pulled her into a hug. A real hug, long and tight, the kind of hug that says I see you, I know you, I'm here. Rose hugged him back and felt something inside her. Something hard and frozen that she'd been carrying for 2 years. Finally start to melt. Not disappear, never disappear, but soften. Become something she could carry without it crushing her. Thank you, she whispered against his shoulder. Thank you, he whispered back. The next morning, Rose woke up early and did something she hadn't done in 2 years. She drove to Maple Grove Cemetery where Jack was buried, brought flowers from her shop, roses red and white, mixed with forget-me-nots and baby's breath. She knelt at his grave the way Sam knelt at Emma's, and she talked. Hi, Jack, she said, voice steadier than she expected. I know I haven't been here in a while. Haven't been able to face it, if I'm honest. But I'm here now, and I have things to tell you. She arranged the flowers at the base of his headstone, making them pretty the way she knew how. I met someone. His name is Sam and he lost his daughter. We're not dating, not like that, but we're friends. We understand each other. And Jack, I think you'd like him. He's kind and sad and real, and he doesn't try to fix me or make me smile when I don't feel like smiling. The morning breeze rustled through the trees, carrying the scent of fresh-cut grass and summer flowers. I've been selling sunshine, Jack. That's what folks call my shop now, the place you go to buy sunshine. But I haven't felt sunny in 2 years. Haven't felt much of anything except the smile I practiced in the mirror every